Hey guys, welcome to episode 3 of Isaac Reviews Facebook Ads. I don't know what to call it yet, but we'll just leave it at that. So on this episode, I'm going to look at specifically food industry. And so 2 of them are actually subscription-based food services, so that's getting pretty popular nowadays. And then another one is more of a physical location. So the first one that we're going to look at is called Blue Apron. You've probably already heard about it at some point. And so what they do is essentially send you all the ingredients that you need to prepare your meal in a timely manner, ideally. I guess that's arguable depending on what your level of cooking skills are. But anyways, the ad that I'm looking at, the video's okay. I'm not entirely convinced of the meals that's presented because it looks very similar to what I already eat. It's not anything fancy. On this specific one, the caption is okay. It's pretty clear on what they're trying to get people to do is, they want people to subscribe to their subscription services so that, and they're offering like 60% or $60 off, which is essentially pushing the offer by giving them an extra reason to apply. In the caption, they're very clear on what the benefits are, which is good. It's very good to kind of outline that for people, especially if they haven't been introduced to Blue Apron before. So it talks about lightning fast recipes that takes only 20 minutes to prepare, save time, skip the line at the grocery store. And so they're really pushing this towards people that have very little time. They're always busy with work. I don't know, they work like 70, 80 hours a week or something. And the last thing they want to think about is what do I cook for dinner? And so that's really good for those specific people. Great thing about what they're doing right now is they actually have different forms of these ads. They have a quiz version as well. It says take this quiz, get $60 off. I thought that was good because people like taking quizzes. I guess one thing they could have done was add like some social element to it. I don't know, share with your friends of your results. Kind of like those quizzes that a lot of people take and share with their friends because the results are funny, or oh my god, that's like totally me, or whatever. But one suggestion that I would have made is that, so like I talked about the meals that's presented in the video and how they're not entirely too enticing to me. Maybe they could have done specific cuisines in one video. So like one video could be about like Chinese food, one could be Thai meals, one could be Korean food, one could be Italian dishes, and then push those specifically towards people that have interest in them because of the capabilities of Facebook ad targeting that's available right now. And the only reason I would say that is because when it comes to my clients, I try to contextualize as much as possible. I mean, given the circumstances. And the reason is because I personally connect with things that I have interest in. Like if I don't have any interest in, some cuisine that doesn't really entice me, I wouldn't click on that, or I wouldn't take the time to watch it. But on the other hand, if it is something more of interest, I would take more time to watch it. The only caveat is that it would have a higher CPM. Oh, that means like the cost of 1,000 people watching your video. But some people argue that lower CPM is always better. Yeah, sure, more people are looking at it, but it's a matter of quantity versus quality. Do you want quality leads or quality people that actually have an interest in your ads watching it, or do you want just the masses watching it? And so I personally, and you try to have to balance it depending on the budget of your client, but I go towards the higher CPM, more contextualized, more specific targeting, and that way they're watching the videos longer, they take more actions and whatnot. And the second brand that we're looking at is Whole Foods. So everyone knows what Whole Foods is. They sell food. It's a bit on the higher end in terms of pricing. And so they have a couple different ads going on. Their creative is very consistent. They have like the split screen. One is food, one is something to do with the holiday. So in this specific one, it was, I guess, fresh toast on the top and then present boxes in the bottom. Really appropriate for the current timing, with the holiday season coming around. I thought their headline could have been more descriptive. It just says surprise your host with gifts they'll love. If you click on the ad, the learn more button in this ad, it leads to a blog that focuses on different gift ideas, especially on food ideas. So truffles, wines, whatever, cheese. I thought that was good. Like pushing them into a blog that presents, different ideas that people could utilize in their own lives, as opposed to pushing products. Try to sell more of their stuff was, it provides value for the audience. And I thought that was good. One concern that I had with this ad was that it's very similar to other ads that I've looked at. So I looked at like Food Lion. They have very similar ads. So if they're all targeting the same people, which they shouldn't, like they have different demographics that they should be targeting. So specifically for Whole Foods, they should be targeting people that are in the higher end of the income level because of their general pricing. But my concern is that they will probably get lost in the sea of holiday related ads. There's tons of them out there right now. And so one suggestion that I would have had was to target specific locations with appropriate content depending on that specific demographic. So for example, I know there's a lot of Whole Foods in DC. They could have had content that's specifically geared towards the people that live in DC. So maybe talk about something that only DC people would know about or recognize. And so that way, it's more personable, it's more contextualized, which is kind of like the avenue that I always take with my clients. And of course, again, this will be higher CPM, but it's more relatable to the people that are going to be watching it. And that can go a long way, in my opinion. And then the third brand that we're looking at is called ButcherBox. So what they do is essentially subscription services to send you, organic meat. So pictures are decent, shows you a lot of meat and utensils to use to cook and cut the meat. So these pictures, you could honestly make them using a site called Canva, like with the captions and text and everything. It literally takes 2 minutes. So if you have trouble, making pictures for ads and you don't know how to do all the graphic stuff, Canva is a good website. That's one suggestion. I personally felt that their ads were pretty bland. It's pretty bland content. All of them are about winning $40 off towards their purchases. But when it comes to that, my question is, but what if people aren't looking for a discount? Right? When it comes to these types of subscription services, maybe that's not what they're looking for, and maybe that's not what would push them into making that purchase. And so that's, for me, I think that's a lack of understanding your audience, understanding their needs, and addressing their pain points. But if you actually look at their Facebook page, and not just their ads, they actually have a lot of good content. So they have a lot of content specifically for how to cook the meat and for specific meals. I thought that was really good. But one thing that a lot of businesses need to recognize is that your organic reach is so low on Facebook right now that there's no reason to only post it as a post on your page. You have to push it as an ad if you want to reach the masses. And so the sequence of the different forms of content could be more of, so let's start with a memorable content, a funny video or something. So they could make a funny video for ButcherBox, and then they could retarget the people that watched it with the valuable content. So the whole recipe ad, recipe content where people can actually utilize that and see what they can do with these types of meats that they're getting in their subscription package. And then you can finally push them, to making the purchase by offering the $40 off. So at that point, they know what it's about, they know what's possible, and then you're just giving them an extra reason, as opposed to upfront, you're just giving them $40 off. And in my opinion, I don't think that's the best way to go. So of course you can, change the sequence a little bit to see which one works the best. That would require a lot of testing and whatnot, but I think it's completely appropriate. So another suggestion would be, like, if you think about Chick-fil-A, they have, even though they serve like a lot of chicken products, they have a cow as their mascot essentially. And for me, growing up, seeing them on the billboard, seeing them in different like TV ads and whatnot, that cow and the font that they use specifically for Chick-fil-A, it's very memorable for me, and they're very consistent. So maybe going along down that route for this brand would be good. So other content ideas for their ads could be like story of the cow, specifically story of the company, how they started, story of the grass that the cow eats. And then I talked about like how to cook the meat in different ways, and I think that'll add a lot of value to people. And because of, the reality is that people aren't going to be able to see it on Facebook because of the current conditions of how the organic reach is for business pages. So that's my 2 cents, and I hope you found a lot of helpful tips there. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them below. I'll catch you on the next episode.